Then.
Thank you very much. My name is Ngombombo Minwifo. I'm 30 years old. I came to Rwanda to study at the African Leadership University. And I found a problem that I decided to provide a solution to. So I'm the founder of Bongalo, which is an online booking platform that connects travelers to Rwanda to affordable accommodation that they can be able to pay with local payment methods. So first, I appreciate the ease of doing business here. So I was able to register my business within a very short time, and the regulations are in place. So thank you very much for such policies and efforts to enhance entrepreneurship. So my question is around funding. According to Ventures Capital for Africa, a survey they put out proved that the second most reason for startup failures in Africa is its lack of finance. I've faced this problem as a startup owner, likewise, and I'd like to know from you, Dr. Steve, and also from His Excellency, what efforts are being made to invest in early-stage startups so they can move to scaling level and be able to expand and grow to all the bigger markets, because startups do not get funding at very early stage, and mostly tech startups and also other service delivery, they quit from the businesses because they face a lot of challenges living and feeding themselves and trying to work on their businesses. So I'd like to hear from you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let me kick it off and say this, that, you know, the question you're asking actually is vexing policymakers worldwide. If you talk to the British, they're as concerned, the French. Because as things stand, it only appears that Silicon Valley, Israel, and the Chinese have really got it going. Everybody else is still trying to find their space. How do we fund startups? I just, 2 weeks ago, I was in Silicon Valley, just talking to venture capitalists. I'm trying to get a deeper understanding of the ecosystem that emerged. It's not the water that they drink in Silicon Valley, okay? There's an ecosystem there, which makes it easier for entrepreneurs to get the type of capital that's needed in these early phases of business. And they are not bank loans. Bank loans actually will kill them. They need to stay out of the banking system. You're going into the banking system when they're a little bit bigger. What you need is people who, in Silicon Valley, they give them the money. They expect 9 out of 10 to actually fail. Literally, 9 out of 10. But it's the one that becomes Facebook. Okay? There is one that becomes Twitter. And when they fail, they sit them down, they ask them hard questions. So what went wrong? What have you learned? Okay, take time out, come back, and we'll give you some more money for your next one. Okay? That's just a completely different world where we are. If you fail, that's it. Okay? So it's a whole new ecosystem. Israel is in exactly the same place. I spent some time, and last year I actually brought here with me, we spent some time here with the writer of the book, Startup Nation. We came here and did a presentation together here in Israel. So there is work, there's a lot of work you can do there around the type of capital that is needed. So there's a whole group of players who emerge alongside the entrepreneurs, who invest in them, who give them the support. Because young people like Crystal and Kevin, for them to take that business to a large business, the kind of organizational skills that will now need to come into play are not easy to come by. So it'll come, and there's a lot of conversation around it now in Africa. I'm convinced it will come. You can hear the conversation in Nairobi, you hear it in Lagos, in Cape Town. But I'm hoping, Mr. President, that Rwanda will take the lead in this space and really give us the ecosystem. I have this vision, this dream, that when you look for entrepreneurs of Africa, you'll find them in Kigali. Because this will become the place they all come to have conversations about what happens in African entrepreneurship.
Yeah. So taking the lead, we want to, and I think we are already doing that. But I say we all have to get a little bit more organized. We have also to think about how we organize ourselves, how we convince people who have the money to invest in this kind of thing with us. But I'm saying we're already doing it. The country has created an innovation fund.
Yep.
And for me, I want to look at investing in innovation as together with investing in entrepreneurship.
Yep.
So which means we will be looking at how access to that kind of fund actually helps the startups to grow as well. And this is not going to be once people have qualified and have access to this kind of fund, it's not going to be like going through the bank.
Yep.
It is just exactly going to be the same way, Strive, you have been describing it. So I think, and it's not so much that the money is lacking for people to create these kinds of funds and avail money to the startups. It's also, when it comes to Africa, we have to do a number of things. We really have to create that confidence. You see, there are narratives out there. When you talk about Africa, all of a sudden it is dismissed and it's about other places, not Africa. I think we have to start with ourselves by getting better organized. I know each country of Africa government can set up these kinds of funds and also showcase some of the things that have been done or that are possible in Africa with cases that we have seen before. So there is that reassurance created in the minds of the likely investors or sources of this kind of funding. I think it is possible. We just have to, again, invest in the stories we create about what has worked, how it has worked, and how that can encourage other things coming up to work. And with that, we are going to achieve people with the money to invest in that, to start seeing it as a way, actually, even of making money themselves. For the people who are involved, but also for those who invest. So I think it's all possible. We just need to keep working at it. Indeed, there are many examples. Strive talks about the Silicon Valley, about Israel. We've known how these things work. We can even improve on that, how it should work for us. So I think we should be there in a shorter time than people imagine.
Thank you. Let's try to take a question from a woman.
Thank you.